Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Have you ever felt like everything's against you and you have no control over any of it? Sometimes it's easy to feel like a victim. Jacob sure felt like that, and from his perspective, everything was going downhill. He was old and nearing the end of his life. His favorite son, the most promising one, the one he had loved and planned to make the leader of the family, Joseph, had been killed by wild animals, or so he thought. A famine had come, and his family and flocks were near starvation. He'd sent 10 of his sons to buy grain in Egypt, but only 9 came back. They'd been accused of being spies and threatened by Egypt's leader. He told them not to come back without their younger brother to prove they weren't spies. At first, Jacob had put his foot down. Not Benjamin, not his youngest, most precious son, no. He was the only child left from his beloved Rachel. No, they would not take him. But they refused to go without him, and the food was getting dangerously low. It finally came down to sending Benjamin to Egypt with his brothers or letting the whole family die of starvation. At one point, Jacob wailed to his sons, "You have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is no more, and you would take Benjamin. All these things are against me." He eventually allowed Benjamin to go, but he didn't seem to have much hope of seeing his favorite son again. He sent them off by saying, "If I am bereaved of my children, I am bereaved." Too bad Jacob didn't have the book of Romans. Then he might have had a different perspective. Instead of saying, "All these things are against me," and hanging his head, he could have looked up and declared, "All things work together for good to those who love the Lord. We will trust that God has everything under control." What Jacob didn't know was that for 13 years now, God had been working behind the scenes, using that son that he had once favored to save the entire family. And not only the whole family of Jacob, but all the people in the region during this famine. Little did he know that God was behind every detail, and he was working all of this for good. Things weren't nearly as bleak as they looked from Jacob's perspective. From God's perspective, everything was working out just like he planned. What Jacob needed was faith that God was in control. That's what I need too. Faith to accept whatever happens, not judging it as something that's good or bad, but something that's a part of God's bigger plan. He knows what he's doing. The end of Jacob's story includes a joyous reunion with Joseph, who has become second in command in Egypt. Jacob died an old man surrounded by all of his children and grandchildren, happy and prosperous in the land of Goshen. But that was by no means the end of the story of his family. They've had many ups and downs throughout the centuries, millennia. Their story is filled with God's love, protection, and grace, as well as his discipline. All of it was his plan. I heard this quote the other day. "A blessing is anything God uses to draw us closer to Him." I love that. A blessing is anything God uses to draw us closer to Him. A trial can be a blessing. A no to a prayer can be a blessing. How is God blessing you today?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.